my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Man Cave, and progress has been made. Oh my gosh, I had the worst night of sleep last night I've had in years. I woke up 6, 8, 10 times. I don't know how many times. I'd fall back to sleep, but I would wake up screaming in pain. I just wake up, ow, 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 that kind of thing, and just the whole arthritis. And I think the Dupuytren's contraction is almost as bad as the arthritis, because that gets in your feet, and I think it gets in all your tendons. I mean, because what it does is it draws your hands shut. All your tendons are shrinking, and I think that's the case throughout my whole body. They say for sure if you have it in your hands, you generally have it in your feet also, and I definitely have it in my feet, and I'm pretty sure you get it all over, and it just draws on you, just tightens up, and it just, I don't know if that's what's causing it or if it's just the arthritis or what it is, but I know it hurts. And just woke up so many times last night. I took, over the course of the night, I think I took 6 aspirins. Tylenol and ibuprofen do nothing. All those arthritis over-the-counter things, they do nothing. So aspirin sort of helps, but it doesn't even really do much either. Over the weekend, I cut more firewood and cleaned out the wood furnace, things like that. I watched the Itchy Boots bike fix. You saw she got her bike fixed. And I say, if you have blonde hair and you ride a motorcycle, let me rephrase that. If you have long blonde hair and you ride a motorcycle, I say you need to be living over there in Iraq and Kuwait and places like that, because everything's free. After she got that bike fixed, she said she tried to pay the manager and he wouldn't take any money. It's like, are you kidding me? That would work here in the United States, I guarantee you. It just would work that way here too. Yeah, you can bet your life on that. There's not a chance. They'd charge you triple just for even acting like you wanted to get it for free. Well, anyway, I have a couple of videos to share with you here. The first one's on a chainsaw fix, so take a look at this. Well, I ordered some double extra large gloves. I can barely seriously get my hands in them. I've got my right hand in the other one already, but I'm seriously telling you, they are super tight. Yeah, you'd be surprised how hard that was to get over my hand. And my hands aren't really that big in terms of mass. They're just long fingers. And of course, the fingers aren't long enough either. As you can probably tell, the web doesn't go down to the base of the fingers. Well, they're better than not wearing anything. I'm tearing into this steel chainsaw today. Right after I got this thing, I didn't have it very long at all. A tree fell on this right here and broke it, and I just super glued it and taped it up, and it's been holding fine. But I found one reasonable price. Wouldn't you know, this one was the only one that this handle sold well over $100, like $130, $150. I'm not kidding you. All the other models, you could buy these handles all day long for $30, $40. Well, I finally found one like this one, and I can't remember what I paid for it, honestly, but I think it was around $50. So I thought, well, I might as well get it. And finally, after a year or so waiting, trying to find a handle at a reasonable price, at least I got one, and we're going to put it on there. So we'll start by getting her disassembled. Pretty much everything's metric, so I got my metric wrenches here. And more than likely, I won't even need them, because it looks like I'm going to start off with unique fasteners. So I guess that's what we're going to need. Let me find them. Well, I've got my box of unique bits for these fasteners. And I don't know what this one says. It says it's a T27. And I already tried to turn it with the little screwdriver handle, and it ain't going to turn. So I've got my 1/4-inch ratchet adapter here. Yeah, it's tight.
concerned that I even had the right one. Wasn't sure, you know, because like I said, all the other ones were so expensive. And this one being so much cheaper, I thought, maybe there's something wrong with it, you know. But so far, so good, I think. That's good. Well, we got our new handle. We're ready to go. If you like the little short video, be sure to give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already doing that.
Speaking of subscribing, we've got, I don't know, 208, I think. I mean, 108,000 or almost, I don't know, almost 109,000. So we're moving up. It's just very, very slow now, but that's okay. You know, I'm okay with that. And then I spent, let's see, a good part of the weekend, as much as I could stand the pain, working on the shingle roof. So here you go. This is where we stand right now.
The sun's so bright out here, I honestly can't tell what you're seeing, but you can possibly notice that on this side of the roof, up here in the rafters, there's no ties across. There's open channels. In other words, these pieces aren't in there. That's because I built these in two separate halves, set them up here, and never did finish this. Well, I just finished this side. So you can see here that this side is finished. And anyway, I got that done. So that makes room for me, or that allows me to be able to start the boards on top. And you know, it's just going to be a slab board roof. I'm a little bit anxious to start it because look how far down it is. But I can do most of it from inside here, I think. And that's pretty safe, really. I mean, I got plenty to hold on to, and I'm standing on a ladder, and you know, it's not that far down to the floor. 7 feet from my feet right now. So it's still high enough to get hurt, but I think we can make it work from inside here for the most part. But we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Well, here's what 1 o'clock till probably around 4 o'clock does. I cut all these tails off flush and plumb. In other words, if you look down them now, they're fairly straight line and they're plumb, so that I can put a fascia board on them. So there you go. That's the way it turned out so far. I'm gonna hang it up for today and get after it tomorrow. Well, my friends, that's redneck scaffolding at its finest. It's really not too bad. Those are oak boards that are sticking out. One of them's 1.5 inches thick, the other one's 1 inch thick. So there's no way you're gonna break that off. It's got a little spring to it. You gotta be careful. And I guess I'm about as careful as I can be. All right, I'm gonna give it a shot. I don't know how well this is gonna go. I've never shingled with real wooden shingles before, but we're gonna find out. what it's like, because I have no clue. Well, that's working way better than I would have expected. It's not really that scary. It's easy to work on. I'm just being real careful, as much as careful as I can be. I've got the first 2 rows down. They're right on top of each other, just covering the seam, and I'm on my 3rd row, so here we go. Well, my friends, it's Monday morning. Made a little more progress. It looks like 3 rows of shingles, but if you look real close, there's actually 4 rows, because that bottom row is a double row. You have to put 2 sets of shingles on the bottom, to split the seam. And then you go on up from there, and it's looking pretty good. It's going on better than I probably expected it would. I can get the next row on from my redneck scaffold here, but after the next row, I'm going to have to do it all from the inside up there above, hanging down, which it's not horrible, but it ain't the best. So we'll see how it goes. Let me show you what it looks like from the inside so you can kind of tell what's going on in there. The reason I wanted, 1.5 inch, or, they call them 2x. The reason I wanted 2x material on this ceiling is so the nails don't show through when you're driving nails in. And so you can see that it's coming along. I'll have to, before I can put any more on, I'm going to have to add several more 2x6s or whatever I'm putting on there. They're all nominal sizes. I just make, it takes 2 to span the full length. And so I just make those 2 whatever width comes out to. In other words, whatever the maximum width I can get out of the 2 pieces, that's what I make it. And that keeps the, the line pretty straight that way. And so far it's working out pretty well. It's just slow. This is not a production thing. It's going to take me quite a while to do it. I'm hoping that I can get maybe halfway up the side today, assuming I have enough shingles. And honestly, I don't know. But so far the shingles is going Maybe a little further than I expected, but not a whole lot, but a little further maybe. So I'm pretty happy overall. It's just a lot of work. I've had this door open so I could get to the shingles easier, and you can see I've used about half of one stack so far, which isn't too terribly bad. Now these are the ones that are the older shingles. They've been drying longer. So those other ones over there, halfway down is pretty dry, I would say. You know, maybe the top third is fairly wet. But anyway, I'll use them in the order of dryness. I just don't know how far that's going to go. I don't think it's going to go all the way up one side. Oh, I know it won't go all the way up one side. It might get me halfway up. I just don't know. A lot of work, I know that.
It's a lot of work. Trust me, it's a lot of work. And like I said, last night told me how much work it really was when I tried to sleep. Oh my gosh, I was aching and just, I had things hurting that I didn't even know I had. Yeah, it's amazing. Well, let's go to the comments and see who's here today. 122 viewers at the moment. Rod Wintler, Joe Nigan, and David Tharp are right at the top there. And then David says, I hate it when I'm talking to myself and suddenly realize that I wasn't listening and have to start all over again. I hate it when that happens. I can't relate to that. Let's see. Bill Rhodes, good afternoon, everyone. Let's see. Wavy Gravy. A friend recommended I see a fortune teller. She's one of the best, he said. How do you know? I asked. And he said she once told King Kong he would fall really hard for a little blonde. Let's see. David Tharp. I was accused of adding insult to injury, all because of what I wrote on his cast. Now I got to go back to whatever that comment was before. Okay, I don't know. I'm losing it here. I'm just going to keep going. Wavy Gray says, you might say my next door neighbor is a real universal kind of guy. He's living proof that the cosmos is made of protons, electrons, neurons, and morons. Yeah, I see the morons all the time. Those other things, it's really hard to see those other things. Let's see. Wavy Gravy. My doctor thinks he's a comedian. When I ask him what exercise might help my singing voice, he suggested try swinging from a noose. Let's see. Bill Webb. Good afternoon, everybody. It's clear, sunshiny, 72 here today in Commerce, Texas. Well, guess what? It's 72.3 degrees here today. It's like a breath of spring. This whole weekend's been like spring. It's like, wow, it's just nuts. I mean, it's like short sleeve weather. I've just been wearing this out there working, this morning I was wearing just a t-shirt out there working on the building this morning. It was already like 40 something when we woke up, and then as soon as the sun came out, it got up really warm fast. Let's see. Rod Wentler says, Jerry, if you're not really careful on that roof, you might get dropped from the job. Yeah, that could happen. Let's see. Wavy Gravy. My doctor thinks I read that one. Bill Webb. That's the one I just read. I can't. It's just hard. It's just not easy being me. Bill Webb says, someone once asked me if I knew the difference between ignorance and apathy. I said, I don't know, and I don't care. Yep. Dottie Hildebrand, prayers for all of everybody. Thank you, Dottie. And for the country, she says. Dottie's asking, did the groundhog see himself or not? Well, I don't know. I don't go in for such foolishness. Jerry F., let's see, says, hi, Jerry, have you ever watched the channel Thorin Bradley? He splits wood. Boy, does he split wood. Well, I can't say that I remember seeing that channel, honestly. I do watch a number of guys that split a lot of wood, but most of them have processors and all kinds of fancy equipment. Of course, I do, too, have the splitter for my skid steer that I built, and it works really good. I just generally use it on large quantity stuff, though, or really large tree trunks and things is what I usually use it on. David Tharp, the police came to my door and asked me where I was between 5 and 6. He seemed irritated when I told him kindergarten. Bill Rhodes, Jerry, have you ever heard of neuropathy? Well, I've heard of it. I don't know that I know that much about it. I know you're saying there it happens in the hands and feet. Yeah, well, I don't know if it happens throughout the whole body, but last night it was the whole body. It wasn't just the hands and feet. It was everywhere, man. I was aching. My hips, especially my hips, just killing me. Scott Roberts, changing that chainsaw handle so fast for an old guy is pretty impressive. Didn't know you could move that fast. Well, you ought to see me when something's after me. I can really move fast. Diane Craver, that red box full of bits was dangerously close to the edge of the workbench. It's a pain to put them all back in. Ask me how I know. Well, Diane, that never happens to me. Well, I mean, never happens more than once or twice a day is what I mean. And yeah, it's crazy. You'd be surprised at the stuff that happens like that. No, I know what you're saying exactly. Scott Roberts, you shingle as fast as you fix chainsaws too. Look at him go. Yeah, and just imagine if I had sped the video up. Just think how fast it would be then. Let's see. G&P Old Marine Shop. Hi, Jerry. Not to sound stupid, but could that roof have been shingled on the ground, then installed on the building? Just curious if it's possible. Yeah, it would be possible. It is possible to do that. It's not really feasible with the equipment I have. If I had a really big excavator or something really, large crane type thing, it would sure be the way to do it. But that thing sits up pretty high, and it was all I could do to get, with what I had, it was all I could do to get it up there in 2 pieces. And I mean, it was all I could do. I didn't want any more than that. It was every bit of what I could accomplish. But yeah, that would have been great. If it could have been shingled on the ground and just set it up there in 1 piece, would have been awesome. And it's possible. I mean, I could have rented a crane or something, but gee whiz. Ronald Todd, talking about aches and pains. Welcome to being in your 70s, boy. Yeah, well, I've really been having them for a much longer time than just my 70s, but last night after doing all that work, it was emphasized. Ronald Todd says 41 in New Jersey today, 44 tomorrow, and then back to the 30s. David Tharp, make every day Groundhog Day. Eat sausage for breakfast. Okay. Groundhog. I get it. Ground meat. Let's see. I like sausage for breakfast. I prefer bacon, but I like sausage too. Bill Rhodes, Jerry, that's the way I feel every time I wake up in the morning. Yeah. Well, I do too. It takes me a long time to get rolling. Once I get moving, I'm not too bad. My problem is I just keep going. I don't stop, once I get going. And, I can tell it's really starting to hurt, and I just keep going, and then it really hurts. Like once I sit down, it just hits me all at once. It's like, oh my gosh, it's bad. I could barely walk last night. Scott Roberts, Jerry, your response to the first groundhog comment really made me laugh. GNP, Old Marine Shop. Do you know of mandolin player by the name of Buddy Merriam from New York? No, I can't say as I know that name. Scott Roberts says that was in reference to Dottie's comment. Yeah, about the Groundhog Day, or did he see a shadow? Yeah, I don't go in for such nonsense. Pretty much, yeah, I remember my mom would always have to talk about Groundhog Day and did he see a shadow and all that. My aunts were always into that sort of thing and stuff. And so I grew up with that, and it's just second nature almost, basically. But Scott Rod says, now do your best Bob impression. Get us all in a good mood. Oh, I can't do it. It's one of those deals where you get it one time and you can't ever match the original. So anything I do from this point on is just going to be a letdown. Guys, I'm going to let that be it because I'm going to rest for another 5 or 10 minutes and then go back out there and keep shingling. That's about all I can do. Let's see. Wavy Gray says, instead of spanking Bob when he was a bad kid, his parents would just whack him on the head with the phone book. Unfortunately for him, they were living in Los Angeles at the time. Yeah. But we had a big phone book in St. Louis, too. I don't know. It was that thick. I mean, it's a big old thick book, in St. Louis. White pages and yellow pages both were like that. And they were big books. But anyway, I'll never forget, though, that time. I've already told you this, but that time I stood up in the meeting. There was 400 of us in the division, and the division manager up there talking and being all important, and he asked for questions and things. And of course, I stand up and I say, well, have we thought about getting an online directory going and, and being first in the market on that? And, this kind of, we don't think that's a viable thing. We don't think that's ever going to amount to anything. And, everybody's looking at me like I'm an idiot, and I'm thinking, you guys are stupid. I can't believe you don't see the handwriting on the wall on this. There you go. Some people can see the future. Some people cannot. We will see you tomorrow, one way or the other, and I'll show you the progress that I make, and we'll see how that goes. Thank you for being here.